Okay, so quick thing about WWE. Um, I saw a thing on Twitter, a poll that was asking what company had the best women's wrestling in the world. Now, I my list was Impact was first, NXT was second, followed by Raw, and then SmackDown. Reason being because I feel like Impact has done a great job at elevating a lot of their women to main event level status. Now, by main event level status, I mean the fact that they have promoted and they've pushed these women to the point where they close a show out, whether it be on TV or even a pay per view. With NXT, you've got number one, Rhea Ripley, who I believe is the future of WWE women's wrestling. She's young, she's talented, she's hungry, she's great looking, she's a badass, so she's going to be their future. Secondly, you've got Io Shirai, who I think is the best women's wrestler on the planet right now. I mean, she's called the AJ Styles of Japanese women's wrestling, so that goes to show you. So with her, I think she's going to own that women's division on whatever show she goes on. Now, with Monday Night Raw, I feel like they're at a standstill without having Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Because Lord knows that Becky Lynch is the face of WWE, whether her critics like it or not, she is. Becky Lynch, she proved that she belongs in the main event when she faced Charlotte and Ronda at WrestleMania. And if memory serves, she's been the main event of a pay-per-view, maybe more than one. And same goes with Charlotte Flair. She's closed out a lot of TV episodes of Raw, SmackDown when she was there. And like I said, she was on the main event for WrestleMania with Becky and Ronda. Now, not to leave out Ronda Rousey because she's another one. She's proven that she could be a main eventer. She can close out a show, so on and so forth. So I'll add Ronda to the list also. Now, they've done a good job with putting the women's title on Asuka on Raw due to Becky Lynch being pregnant and Charlotte Flair being out with some sort of elective surgery or injury, whatever it is this time. But the problem is they don't have anybody for her to face to help elevate Asuka to main event status. Yes, Asuka is one of the best, but once again, she's not been pushed to main event status to where she can close out shows and pay-per-views. So they're going through the process now of finding opponents for Asuka, to which they recently apparently separated Zelina Vega from Andrade and Angel Garza, which I think it's about goddamn time. But that's just my opinion because Zelina Vega I've been watching for years. She's uber talented. She's got a lot of great talent in her. She was trained by the Amazing Red, so she can go. But like I said, the problem is on Monday Night Raw, there aren't any women that have been promoted, pushed to the point where they're a main eventer for the women. Looking at SmackDown, the problem with SmackDown is the fact that they've put the title on Bayley. They wanted her to break whatever the record was for longest reign as women's champion. And she's basically beaten everybody. And there's no new challenges for her, which is why I hope to God that whoever, and I'm not going to say Vince McMahon because we all know Vince McMahon ain't that smart, whoever will take Rhea Ripley and put her on SmackDown to be a new challenger for Bayley, because The problem with long title reigns is eventually it becomes boring. Eventually you get tired of seeing it and you want it over. And also is the fact that Bayley is just a boring heel. I know everybody, myself included, wanted to see Bayley turn heel because Sasha Banks doing it would be way too obvious. The problem is with Bayley as a heel, I feel like she's trying way too hard. It's like when you're a kid in school and you want to be a cool kid, you want to be popular, so you hang out with the cool kid to become popular and you just overdo it. Sasha Banks is the cool one. Bayley hung out with Sasha Banks because they were best friends, and she just tried way too hard. So, what does that mean? That means now that they had Sasha get turned on by Bayley, like I said, they're going to move on to Sasha and Bayley, obviously. But problem, just, a minor one, is the fact that Sasha Banks is 0 for forever when it comes to singles title defenses. She's got the curse of the Ciampino, if you will, considering the fact that she's from Boston, the whole Boston Babe Ruth thing, how long it took Boston to become champs, So, with the fact that Bayley has beaten just about everybody, who's there for Sasha Banks to face? If Sasha Banks faces somebody to defend the title against, is she going to successfully defend it? Who's it going to be against? These are the problems because, once again, WWE has failed at making main event level performers out of some of their women that aren't Becky Lynch, that aren't Charlotte Flair. Now, granted, I love Charlotte Flair, love Becky Lynch. But the problem is, without new stars, the women's division, like I said, on both shows, has become stand still. Because they're trying to figure out who works with who doesn't work with who, so on and so forth. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be a long time before you see women main eventing pay-per-views again. Because, like I said, WWE's failure to elevate a bunch of different stars to main event level status.